everyone out there who's tuning in for the first time. Who's tuning in. I realized my subscribers went up, so if you're tuning into my show for the first time, thank you so much. We do reviews and actual plays here. What did you say there, Witch King?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought you did. Never mind. So who's tuning in for the first time? So we're doing an actual play of Atomic Punk 2160. If you like Fallout, this is the place to be. Yes, my background is sort of Fallout-esque paper that I used, and I just placed me and Witch King just somewhere on the paper, so that way I guess it looks kind of cool with our lower thirds that I created a long time ago for other games. So
I want to say it's actually a picture of of the world in Fallout 3.
I believe that is it. That's kept the Capital Wasteland because that was like one of the most predominant ones. It's not the Commonwealth, which technically it should be the Commonwealth. I think in my book I should have did that one, but the Fallout 4 one had literally all the, like, you just didn't have a plain screenshot or a wallpaper. It was literally Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. So I just wanted something with no name on it because I didn't, yes, this is a Fallout-esque game. So we are going to dive into this. So before we do, I'm going to talk about a few things while sharing a quote. Now, as far as I'm concerned, this is a pretend quote that was actually rewritten and was given the person who stated it, which I don't know if we'll have him as an NPC or exactly what the issue is, but let's start with the quote. So the game starts off in the state of Maine in the year 2160. Nuclear fallout war happened just 100 years prior. Bombs fell everywhere. As the explosions and vaporization has happened, many things have changed the world as the world has changed itself. There are now 100 years later, things have evolved and adapted to the nuclear wasteland of what we call Atomic Punk 2160. This quote was stated by, as I said, fictional character named Henry David Thoreau, and I think Henry David Thoreau was also a real person too, just so you're aware.
He was.
So, but this is a pretend quote stating, what is most striking in Maine, what is most striking in the Maine wilderness is the continuous of the forest, with fewer open intervals or glades than you had imagined, except the few burnt lands, the narrow intervals on the rivers, the bare tops of the high mountains, and the lakes and streams. The forest is uninterrupted. So 100 years later, there's not really much of a forest, but there are still rivers and stuff like that. Highly irradiated lands. The water's not safe to drink. So, all right. So, let's give you guys a little bit of a background. Before the War of 2077, and this is probably true because I did look some of this stuff up to add in some real-world stuff. Maine, also known as the Pine Tree State, was the 23rd state that was admitted into the United States of America before the year 2077. And it wasn't the year 2060 that it started, so it hasn't been quite 100 years, but the war did go in 2077. So just slightly a bit, like 17 years, whatever, 100 years minus 17, that's how many years it has been since the war. So the adventure takes off in a place called Fort Kent. Fort Kent is home to 12,000 people, most of them liberated from parts of Maine. There has been control groups sent out all over throughout Maine. If you have been in this town, if you've been in this fort for very long, it's very likely you joined the Black Rain Coalition. They are, it's a group of freedom fighters that liberates people from slavery, and that makes sure that they get their freedom, and is trying to unite more communities under one banner, and it's the banner of the state itself, which is Maine. They've adopted that banner, plus made their own banner in coalition to that, as their faction banner, but they are trying to unite under Maine and keep the peace. Maine right now is being plagued by what you call the Darkwater family. The Darkwater family is actually runs their own faction called the Maine Tentacles, and they are basically what you call land pirates and raiders that have taken survivors, whether they be mutants, revenants, and humans, and they have enslaved them for their own personal gain. It is a whole family that is involved. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the Darkwater family is ran by 2 siblings. So, and then there is a third, but the third sibling has not reared their head quite yet. The one there is a radio station, but it is inside the Maine's tentacles that do play music from time to time. But in Fort Kent, you do not get the music unless you have some form of a booster, or you can pick up short range signals from long distances. Because right now it can only go 100 miles. You guys are quite a bit away from that. So I'm going to pull up a picture and I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about exactly. Because I do got some aids for not just Witch King here. You get a player aid. So, hopefully this one works. Alright. Any questions so far, Witch King, regarding your character?
And how does my character fit into the setting as a caravaneer?
As a what?
A caravaneer.
Oh, like basically like a person who goes out and scavenges for stuff?
Well, someone who sells the stuff that's been scavenged.
Yes, that's kind of where I was going with that. Well,
in a character.
Well, remember, you are in a community of 12,000. I imagine you probably have gone a bit further out than normal. It's possible that you've picked up a lot of goods over time. You do spend a lot of time in the wasteland, but being a revenant, I think that would be a bit helpful to give our audience context. Humans are, as you expected, regular people like you and me. Revenants are basically, imagine them like ghouls or zombies, only intelligent. But they are like with burnt flesh. And then mutants are anything with a mutation. So let me basically show you the player aid I have here. Let me see here. I need to do a screen share. Oh, I can do that right here. Where are you? Trying to just pull up a screen share real quick, everybody, so I can show you guys what we're kind of looking at here. Now, even though you're in an isolated community, it is kind of big for an isolated community, but like I said, they're also a coalition of basically freedom fighters that truly believe what they're doing.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here if this works. All right. No, and it's still not going to work. I do not like on how that changed with OBS. There was a time when I first started with OBS, you were allowed to use anything as long as you were premiering it. You were allowed to use anything to share your screen. It just for some reason does not work with images anymore. I have to use a real program.
That sucks.
Like GIMP, I can't just pull up my photo program and go, hey, here you go, here's a photo. Yeah, that does suck. It definitely makes things hard.
Oh, I bet.
Because I'm trying to share a photo here and it's just not working out. Here we go. I got the photo, but I don't need all this. So we're going to shrink this down a bit, everyone. So, and then we're going to blow it up on one side of the page. Now, it is possible over time that there may be more communities added. Just so everyone knows, this is a very young game, still in its still very much new and in its prime. So I made this adventure here. So, all right. So if you, we're gonna just move it off there. So if you resort to your screen here, you can see Fort Kent, teeny tiny area, and the line of white. Outside of it is an entire wasteland. You have to traverse 60 miles of wasteland to try and get to any. Now there are places that may be good for scavenging, for trinkets and stuff that you can sell. Maybe unexpired food. However, Maine was not a state that had any shelter at all. There was no nuclear shelters. Maine never got one. So nobody from the year 2077 was saved from the bombs. How they did manage...
Oh, 2016.
Say that again?
Do you mean 2016, not 2077?
No, 2077.
Oh, I thought we were playing in your own version of the Fallout universe.
I like 2077.
Fallout universe.
No, I like 2077 a little bit better instead of 2060. I didn't want to do like 100 years. I think I was kind of picky about that when I was writing this.
So,
right?
what year does this game take place in then?
2160.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Nope, this is still 2160. It's just not quite 100 years from the bombs. This is like, let's see, like 85, like 83 years later.
Oh, okay.
So there's still, like, so there are people from that time, but so most of the people are still kind of young. There could be some people from that time, but nobody was spared. However, why Maine still has regular humans living in it, nobody knows. There's actually a secret to that.
Oh, wow.
There was a secret to that. There was one man, and not the only man. It turns out in the year 2077 or in the 2070s, there was a bunch of conspiracy theories that lived here, and they created their own self-made shelters. And since Maine does have quite a bit military forts, most of them were military soldiers. So if you are a descendant, which you're not because you're a Revnet, but if you are a descendant, chances are you're probably part of the Black Rain Coalition to keep freedom free. You're trying to keep, they're still trying to keep the peace and unite Maine under one banner. Now, as far as they're concerned, they're the last people on Earth. They don't know who else is alive in the world. So Maine itself is pretty isolated. There is a couple locations that's for sure, such as Fort Lake, the heirs of Organon. There's also a secret cache of pre-war weapons hidden somewhere on this map.
And does my character know that?
Does your character know that? No. Like I said, it was secret. And
yes.
Yep. So it's actually it's more than just a weapon cache. It ended up being a corporation at one point in time.
Oh.
Yep. So it's located somewhere on Maine. You just haven't made it there yet. I did mark it on here, so where you guys see my cursor at, that is where Maine's weapons are. It's unfortunately close to the territory of Maine's tentacles.
Oh wow, that sucks.
So, yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. I was like, well, I can't give it to you easily. You're gonna have to fight your way through a big battle and a bunch of slavers. So life in Fort Kent is not as hard as it is in most places, as people do you're not one. You may be a Cavalier, but you do fight for a lot of competition because you're trying to bring things in. But there are plenty of people that's still willing to buy. The economy in Fort Kent isn't like hard to traverse, but at the same time, you're also a Revnet. You don't need a lot to sustain yourself. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Revnets don't require a lot of food and water, but they do require some. Is that correct?
Do you know offhand? I found something in later Fallouts, but not this. Let me check.
Okay. I remember we're also on Atomic Punk, so I'm trying to stick with Atomic Punk too. Huh?
Okay, so it says, no, I'm not seeing anywhere about them not needing as much food.
Okay, I thought I read that somewhere. Let me check.
Maybe it was in the original D20 OSR type version. I'm not sure though.
I may check that. Because we're playing, for everyone who knows, we're playing the 2D10 version.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't say here either. I assumed you wouldn't need a lot since you're kind of like a walking corpse. I'm going to check one other source material here, because I got both books. I do like the OSR one better.
Well, I mean, I think this is closer to how Fallout is.
Oh, probably. It doesn't matter. I think they both are pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
I still like the basic experts thing. Well, you must have a constitution of 15, which means you can kind of resist a lot of issues. This could probably even include just not needing a lot of food. Like you get to last longer without eating and drinking, but you may have to consume something eventually. So it definitely slows down your aging. So you may not be subject to normal. I mean, we can kind of construpulate based on what a RevNet has to go through. That he just doesn't get subject to everything that a human needs. So it's like you guys are like ultimate survivors in this vast wasteland, since the wasteland is kind of vast. Mind you, around Fort Kent you got 60 miles of nothing but wasteland and atomic roaches. There's a lot of atomic roaches in this land. So alright. So enough of the backstory of this region of Maine. Let's talk about your RevNet character. We need a name and the background and basically what does he do in this land?
So his name is Benjamin Hawthorne. He is 112 years old. Class is Carabinier. His backgrounds are former radio disc jockey, former traveling merchant, wasteland herbalist, and investigator.
Ah, okay, all right. Now, have you joined the freedom the fight with the coalition, or do you just live under the coalition's terms?
Well, what does the coalition think of revenants?
Oh, so the coalition actually, okay, so they are literally old style. They actually do not have any, as long as you like act under a certain law, under their law, you are fine. Which means don't do any harm to anyone. Don't murder anybody. Basically don't enslave anyone. They fall under the old school laws of the world. So they don't like Maine's tentacles. So if you help the weak, you are considered an honorary member unless you want to become a full-fledged member. But yeah, as long as you don't kill or destroy or raid, you're good.
What was that?
As long as you don't kill or raid or anything, you're good, ultimately.
Yeah. My character's not a raider.
Right. So.
I mean, he basically was like a disc jockey 100 or whatever years ago. And then shortly after, he became a merchant and traveled around, and then he learned some herbalism from some tribal doctor, and then recently he has been working as essentially Nick, what's his name? The android character who was the private detective in Fallout 4.
Okay. But you made a Nick, so you have like a Nick NPC character you work with in Atomic Punk then.
Well, no. I was saying that my character is essentially Nick.
Oh, okay. All right, fair enough. That was your basis? That's not a bad basis. I like
I
that
mean,
one. I actually like
yeah,
it.
he's done quite a few things over his 112 years.
Oh yeah. So you were so you're 112 years old. Well wait, the war happened about 80 years ago. So how can you be 112?
Because my character was 29 when the war happened.
Or were you 29 when you were exposed to a secret government experiment? Because the war happened in 2077.
Wait, so 27. I think I calculated wrong. Hold on.
Yep.
2077 minus 29.
83 years. Yep.
No, I'll do that. 2116 minus.
Oh no! Wait. That could work. That could work. You did not calculate wrong. I did. That was my bad.
Yeah,
You're
I was gonna
112
say,
years old because
like,
you were 29. You were 29 when the war happened, and then you lived another 83 years. That's 112.
Yeah.
Yep. My bad.
Mm-hmm.
So what year were you born in?
2048.
Oh wow, you probably saw some things. You know, when I flesh out this world a bit more, you can read my articles on that and just go, man, my character was probably there when that happened, driving around in a car. What is your character?
Well, I hope I can help flesh it out a bit since my character was around for most of it.
Right. What is your character's favorite thing that he misses about the old world?
TV. And also frozen TV dinners that you could actually heat up and get from the store.
Now you're drinking. Now you're kind of eating and drinking probably some boxed meals that never go bad and stuff like that. That probably
You
Maine
can't
got
really
by accident. Right. And Maine got those by accident, everybody, because, well, shipments kind of had to go through there, and they acquired some during the war. That's why this place is full of food. Fort Kent is also trying their hand at farming and the nuclear wasteland, which is not easy, but they've been trying to revolutionize a few technologies that might be able to help out themselves. So, to let you guys know, the Black Ring Coalition's colors are blue and white. And their flag is literally just a pine tree on a white pine tree on a blue background. Very simple. And they do have you could probably find remains or one intact rare flag of the United States of America in this game, but you can definitely find the Maine state flag as well. Not as rare as the United States, but not as common as the new flags they're coming up with in today's time. So, all right. So, it's about roughly for you. You just returned from a major trip. Do you have any like cows or like creatures of today's time to tote all your stuff around, or do you have like kind of like a big wheelbarrow that you pull yourself?
Here's my question. Are there vehicles?
There might be vehicles, but that would be kind of hard. Like depending on where they were when the bombs dropped, they're probably still congested on the roads.
Yeah, that's true. But my other question for that is, if there are vehicles, are there people pumping out fuel from oil wells and stuff in other parts of the U.S.?
Well, the good question about that is, since this is kind of like a Fallout-esque type game, I don't remember knowing if it was ever stated in Atomic Punk if we ever got away from using fossil fuels to using renewable energy inside our vehicles.
Well, in Fallout, I know that they were
Uh,
I think it was like maybe 10 or so years before the war.
mm-hmm.
There was like massive oil fields that were recorded by a news broadcaster, that showed all of Texas was a bunch of oil wells.
There could be that, but they also did replace fossil fuels using a renewable energy source, which was a small atomic reactor. That's why in that game when you shot it, it blew up. So, I would say right now you probably have no vehicles where you're at, unless
Okay.
there was
So
a old carbureted
then
vehicle
I probably
that the
have
coalition.
like some kind of mule or horse or some cow or something like that can carry my resources with me.
All right, not a problem. You have an atomic. You know what we're gonna call it? We're gonna call it an atomic cow. You have a cow. Cows have evolved over time to adjust to the radiation. They're kind of like ghoul cows or redneck cows. They look exactly like rednecks, only or a nightmare from like a fantasy type game. Basically, a horse that's on fire, but instead of being on fire, they look like just rotting corpses walking around. So some of them glow, and they have this really neat feature to where if they eat at night, they can glow, but they don't glow during the day.
I imagine they need to be full of they need to not be starving in order to glow.
I would definitely say that's a slight possibility, or a very good call on that one. Totally, very good call. So, all right. So you actually have rejoined home, back at Fort Kent, under the coalition. You were welcomed by some of the coalition military leaders, and they they go, do they know your name? Like your name is Benjamin Hawthorne. They're like, oh, Mr. Hawthorne, it's nice to see you again, or Revnet Hawthorne. Like they didn't know what to really call you, but I don't think your character would be offended with whatever name they use, as long as they don't use
I mean, so long as they're not discriminating against my character based on his revenant status, he's like, it's okay.
Yep, okay. They're not. You're actually revered as one of the most honorable members in this community. Since you're, like, given your age, you've probably been here since before it first started.
Yeah.
Fort Kent actually first started under 2 people, and eventually, after they passed away, and it was actually first formed in 2189. And for years, they just been building it up and building it up, building it up. And let's see here. They're still alive. Trying to think when one of them might have died, because 2 of them both die, and then Fort Kent still goes under. So they're trying to teach Fort Kent that democracy is the way to go. That you have to have a voting system. So you have pretty much, if you want old style America, it's right here. This is what they have. So yeah, it's 2160, and like you are welcomed by the townsfolk and everything. However, there you do notice, and a lot of the guards, you don't see a lot of the coalition doesn't party like if you go to a bar, you don't see them a lot, but that's because they deal with a lot of raiders. They truly think that they're not free because they have constant raiders in the area that try to break down the walls at night. So there's always a lot of worrying. You might see overtired soldiers, and this has been going on for years.
Yeah, I've probably dealt with some of those raiders before.
Oh, you probably have. You probably have. You know what? Never mind. I'm changing it. You didn't probably have. You have. You have, because because they're trying to, because right now Fort Kent is an isolated area and it's enriched. Like they rebuilt houses Um, Back in the day, Fort Kent used to have only a few thousand people, but now it's housing like 12,000 people. So they had to rebuild some houses, living space areas. There's like hotels that are built into living spaces for people. Do you own do you have a room or that you pay for while you're here?
I probably do, yeah. It's probably like in one of the hotels or something, or I don't know, like what kind of buildings are in this area?
Oh, a lot of hotels. There's even like Fort Kent is kind of it seemed like a military base as well. So there's like hotel places for families for visitation. There is gated communities. It's all kinds of things, and then there's lots of stores and vendors. A lot of plazas.
Are there like any lower cost but still kind of nice areas to live?
Well, so the Black Rain Coalition does not believe in taxing their people. Only taxing their people for the space that you rent. So if you literally only rent or own, like say a small hotel room, you probably will pay a couple caps a month. If you do like a whole house, it's probably like 100 caps a month. The economy here is a bit different. Or it's based off of a job that you do for the community, and if you're a soldier, you actually get free room and board as long as you remain inside the faction.
And I imagine if you do enough good services for the coalition, then they will pay for a certain amount of time for your room and board and whatnot.
Absolutely, absolutely. One place that Fort Kent does have is it has a lot of tiny bars. Bars are not the taverns and pubs and bars in this area are not very big. It's kind of like it's like an old western. You go up, you sit on a stool on the outside, and they serve you a drink. You probably pulled up to one if you feel a little like drinking, or if you want something decent piece of meat to eat.
He probably goes over to the bar and he's like, "Hey bartender, can you fill up my booze bottle?"
And
You got.
he looks at you and he says, "Well, how do you pay? Caps or trade?"
Caps this time, sir.
All right. Well, he gives you a whole booze bottle and just charges you. Let's see. I believe what kind of caps do they use? They use like Curry Cola or something. But there's like
Okay,
four
because he just wants like high proof alcohol so he can cleanse wounds and whatnot.
Yep.
How much is it?
Hang on. Let me see what the currency is real quick so I can give you the right one. Because there's more than just caps. There's 4 different types of caps, if I remember correctly, or 3.
I thought there was only one. The Curie caps, or
There-
the Curie Cola caps.
There's Curry Cola, but there was another one actually. There was like 3 of them. One was like, oh god, let me look for it. Hang on a second.
It might just be in the older version.
It might be. Yeah, we'll just call it
I'm
one
only
Curry.
seeing caps for Curie Cola.
Okay, so it's CC. Yeah, there was like Curry Cola, then there was like something else for like a more like an energy drink or something like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll
I
do.
mean, you can add that in if you want, but I just have 54 caps on me right now.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Okay. You know what? We'll just go with that. He's only going to charge you he's only going to charge you 1 cap anyway.
Yeah. It certainly makes it easier.
Oh yeah. He's only going to charge you 1 cap anyway because you do bring a lot of trade. Now, let me roll a percentile for you. You do have a 61% chance that you found 4 bottles of fermented alcohol while you were out. That could be beneficial for your man right here. So that
Then
way he
I
can give you
will
more
roll
cap. You will. All right. First, he gives you the booze. You give him the cap. and then you drank for a little bit before you start talking business because you just got off of a hard road trip.
I got a 45 under 61.
Oh yeah, you definitely got 4 bottles of booze on you. Unopened fermented alcohol.
So what's this bartender's name? Like, would my character know him?
We're gonna call him. Okay. We're gonna call him Pops. We're just gonna call him Pops. And by the way, there is 3 different types of caps. There's Rad Cola, Curry Cola, and Sarsaparilla Cola.
Okay.
Yep.
But real quick, I have a question for you, Tabletop.
Oh yeah. Go right ahead.
Was Pops like was he born in this community and my character has been around for that entire time?
Yes, you knew this guy you knew Pop since he was a boy. He is now about 50 years old. He was born in 2110 or around the 2110s. He could have been born a little bit early, so he could be like 52. So he could have been born in around 2108. You've known this guy since he was a kid. But everyone calls him Pops because he opened up a pub here. That his dad actually used to be his father and family actually used to make their own liquor that they call the gas. They call it the gas cans. And it's basically distilled alcohol out of their own personal machines because he was married to a mechanic. And
I imagine the first thing that they told people was, well, this is good for 2 things: degreasing machine parts and killing brain cells.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going with that one. So Pops looks at you and goes, Ben, would you like anything to eat?
Yeah, sure. What do you have right now?
Well, Ben, I got your special plate ready for you. Call it on the house since you kind of came home and as a welcome home gift. And he serves you a slab of, it's cooked, but only remnants can eat this. Humans can't because there's a lot of radiation in them. It is cooked. It is a cooked steak from like a cow, from an atomic cow. So it's fully radiated, but that does not, I don't think that affects you. So we're not even going to play it off that it does. So he's like, I cooked this for you. Just want to make sure, in case you want it. If not, give it to we'll just give it to some other remnant, but on the house.
Thank you, Pops. And I'll take it and I'll start eating it.
Oh yeah, you taste the beef or the meat, and it is juicy as ever. For some reason, atomic cows do excrete extra juice that can't be cooked out. That's why it's dangerous for humans.
Oh wow.
Humans do eat smaller versions of this, but probably at a greater cost.
And they probably don't eat it as often as a revenant can.
No, absolutely not.
They probably have it like once every few months.
So you hear some commotion across from down to the other stool where a guy is harassing a woman, and is go, "Come on, I just came back from a long trip, and I've got things to sell, and I could use a wench to be in my bed tonight and keep me warm."
Is prostitution legal and monitored in this settlement, or is it illegal and
it's actually
criminalized?
Because this is following the ways of old America, this is actually very much distasteful behavior. You see Pops grab a bar, like a crowbar out, and he's about to go talk to the guys.
Okay. I come with him.
Alright. He's like, you know the rules. We don't prostitute women in this settlement or in this tavern, and I would like it if you unhand that woman. And he unhands her and he turns around and says, "What'd you say to me, old man? Do you know who I am?" You know, I think personally that we should allow such things because this is the wasteland. Survival of the fittest. And I don't think this community has what it takes to be fit. And Pops just goes at Crowbar and says, "Son, please leave." And he sits down on the stool, refusing to leave.
Okay. In the case of something like this, is firing at the person, not to kill them, but to hurt them, acceptable in this community?
If you have no witnesses, and as long as you're doing it in self-defense, or as long as you're defending someone.
Well, I'm kind of trying to defend this woman.
This will work. Everyone knows you. You're not afraid to fire your gun.
Yeah, so I will try and hit the punk in his foot or something.
Fair enough. Go ahead and give me a roll.
2d10. 13.
Oh yeah, 13 hits. Give me damage of whatever gun you're using.
Okay, it is a 1d6 because I have a handgun.
Love it.
Oh crap, I did 1 damage.
well, okay. You shot him in the foot though.
Yeah, that's true.
Your handgun goes up, bam, and he's like, "Oh my god, you son of a bitch! What? Oh my god, you shot me in the foot! You shot me in the foot!" And his buddies are like, "Whoa, that remnant just shot our friend in the foot. Should we? No, that guy's got a crowbar. We're leaving." And the two guys run away. His two friends run away as he is sitting there hopping up and down because you shot him in the foot. And you see Pops come up right behind him, and he hits him in the other leg, and the opposite leg, and knocks him right into the ground on his back. And he says, "Son, I told you to leave. Now your buddies left you. If you stay, I will whack you enough to where you'll probably be dead, and I will throw you to the wolves, my friend. And I will tell the sheriff, yes, I did that, but I did it because I was defending a member of this community. I have been here. I've lived here my whole life. Now I'm asking you politely, please leave my tavern." And all you hear him say, "Yes, sir." And he crawls away. He army crawls away, and you see him crawling away into the mud.
Hopefully he has enough caps to heal himself from a doctor.
Not your problem. Not anyone's problem. He did it to himself. He's like, "Thanks." Pops looks at you and winks at you and says, "Thanks, Ben."
No worries. Let me just go finish my steak now.
All right. So as everybody, so the night goes on. It's actually the sun is beginning to set. You notice that there's some soldiers outside. They're throwing up, and you're not sure as to why. Like you see one coughing, he throws up. You see another coughing, they throw up, and it's like you see them in groups. Like they're in groups of 3 or 4, and they're, you even see maybe a group of 5, and one of them just randomly just starts throwing up.
Pops, what's going on with the soldiers out there?
They're scared shitless. We heard that we may have a mass raid party tonight coming for the town.
I don't suppose they need any help.
They might. You might want to talk. You might want to talk to the general because.
Okay.
And you can gain access to the general easily. You might want to talk to the general because it's also the raiders are wearing Maine's tentacles colors.
Okay. Well, it was nice hanging out with you, Pops, but I gotta go talk to the general.
Yep. I think I'm going to be joining the frontline fight too tonight, so I hope to see you out there.
Yep.
So,
yep, leave the bar and I head to the general.
Yep, real quick, I'm going to pull up what Maine's tentacles look like. Their flag. Trying to pull something out of my booty. So Maine's tentacles, I believe, is the background is red, and it's like it's got the picture of tentacles coming out of the ocean like a kraken. So now you do know that these people are very much like they're slavers. Put it to you bluntly, they are slavers. So they are looking to tear down the town and enslave everyone here. They don't know how many people are here. At least as far as anyone's concerned, nobody knows how many people's truly here. So you walk into the general's office, and of course, you pass through a couple guard checkpoints, and they recognize you and they let you in to talk. And you come, and general's like, "Ben, please sit down. How can I help you tonight? I can't talk long. I've got a plan to do to make sure we reinforce the walls tonight."
Well, I was hoping I could help you out, General.
Really? Are you joining the faction officially, or are you just gonna do a service tonight?
Well, let's see how tonight goes, and if everything goes according to plan, I will join you officially.
All right. Well, I hope we definitely don't have to deal with what we have to deal with. Let's just put it to you that way. I'm hoping.
Yes, I understand.
I'm hoping the Darkwater family just stays away from this area. They are over 100 miles away from us. I don't know why they're crossing in so big of territory. So Maine's tentacles originates, and I'm gonna pull up the map. So Maine tentacles originate from this area here. This is their home base. Here's you. Booyah! Okay, so they've just crossed this. So they basically. So they just crossed by all of this terrain just to come here. So it's possible that these raiders have been out on the road for months, and that they are just discovering that there is people out here. So, mind you, most of Fort Kent citizens don't cross this end of the wasteland, because any further out, you could be crossing into dangerous territory. Some of this could even be considered unexplored.
I see. So
You may have explored it in the pre-war day. You may have explored it in the pre-war days, but that's when we had vehicles, and crossing 100 miles was like a 30-minute to like an hour and a half drive. But now it's like a few day trip. So, and there's in that wasteland that may be only 60 miles, but there's a lot of stuff you can still pick up from there.
Oh yeah.
So.
But I mean, at some point, my character was a disc jockey for some place in the wasteland.
Oh, nice.
Well, remember, because he was a former radio disc jockey, and that's one of his backgrounds.
There's probably.
He's probably been in a lot of different places in the wasteland.
Oh, probably. Probably spreading the music of peace and love, and please come to Fort Kent. Don't go to the other section.
Are there any tribals nearby, or is that like in the southwest of the U.S.?
Right now there's no tribals as far as I've invented. There might be a few. There might be a few people who are considered tribal, but like they haven't developed a vast community, not even close, or a community that would be able to even touch Fort Kent, or even come close to the amount of people Fort Kent have. So there might be a group somewhere of 6 people, but that's about it.
Okay.
Yep. Not a lot in this area, because there's not a lot of vegetation and food alone either. So remember that.
Yeah.
So, all right. So he's like, so the general's like, well, we need you to take the main gate if you could, because we have a feeling they might be going there. They might even try to do the waterways. But if you could take the main gate, I could put Pops on the waterways.
And when he says the main gate, does he mean that we'll all be up on the walkway of the main gate, or I'll be at the main gate on the ground?
You'll be at the main gate up in a crow's nest.
Okay, because I don't know if I can use my handgun that far away.
Probably not. He definitely doesn't want to put you if you choose to go on the ground, that's up to you. But he doesn't want you in harm's way.
Well, does he have like a spare rifle or something I can use to
Yes, actually, he does. He does provide you with a weapon and armor if you want it. It's unfortunately the armor you will be wearing would be considered medium armor, but it has the pine tree patch on it, and it's blue.
medium armor? So, well, because I paid for leather armor, so I guess I'm wearing metal armor?
No, if you're paying for leather, that'll be light. Medium armor is more like Kevlar and bulletproof stuff for
Yeah.
white light weapons.
My armor is mostly for I'm going out into the wasteland to sell some food,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't want to get scratched up by death claws.
But this is like a type of coat though too. It also helps protect. It doesn't do much. It does a lot for you if you're getting stabbed in the back and from behind, but not much for the front of you. So there is some weak points, but it's like they develop their own type of heavy type of. This is very heavy type of leather, and it's harder than it's harder than the leather armor you're currently wearing.
But did they give me a hunting rifle that I can use to fire from the crow's nest?
Yes.
Okay, let me note that down.
Yep. Hunting rifle, I believe that would be medium or heavy.
It'd be what?
What type of weapon would that rifle be? Okay. Oh, it's right here. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, because I'm just.
If not, it's okay. I can just be on the ground.
Oh, no. You got a hunting rifle. I just was trying to figure out if it was like a D8 or a D10.
It's a D8.
Okay. So, all right. Well, you got the hunting rifle with. He did give you a box full of bullets too. So he put you right up in the crow's nest.
Is the hunting rifle a 5-shot clip or a 10-shot clip?
We're gonna say 5.
Okay.
Because that's what he has sparingly.
And how many clips did I get?
You got 4.
Okay.
You got enough for 4. So, here we go. So you spend your first night back at home, up in a crow's nest, with some binoculars.
Just like old times.
It's dark out, but I don't think. Not sure if you are impeded by that.
No, I have a flashlight, but I can't see in the dark now.
No, you can't see in the dark? Okay. So you are having some issues seeing in the dark. Give me just give me an observation roll.
Okay.
Which is observe.
What do
Just your observe. What's your observe score?
My observe score is 9.
9. Okay, so that's a 0. So you don't have any bonuses or penalties. So just roll 2d10 and add nothing to it.
Okay.
I will admit the 2d10. Oh, I was just gonna say I will admit the 2d10 version is a lot easier to use.
Oh, I know. That's why I like it.
All right, what'd you get?
So I got a 7.
You got a 7? Oh wow, you see nothing. You're like I can't see anything. You're up in a crow's nest with a rifle going, can't see anything. Ooh. However, you did hear some rustling around, and as you look down just below the crow's nest, you do see some people approaching. You're not sure. You can see them because for some reason they're using flashlights while trying to stealthily sneak into a room, and they're sneak into a settlement. And for some reason they're using flashlights. They're not very smart.
Um, Ben is gonna whistle
Uh-huh.
in a tone that is harder to hear far away, but you know what I mean.
It is.
And he's
It
gonna
did.
whistle to the soldiers on watch and say, and point over in the direction
All
that
right.
the are coming
So they give you
from.
the. So as you see them, they give you a signal to stand by, and they let them just get right up there, and then they unloaded bullets on these 6 people, killing every single one of them.
Oh, well,
You watch body
I
parts
didn't
fly
fire a
off.
shot of
Like
my rifle.
they didn't even stand a chance. That you watched body parts fly off, a leg flew off, a head flew up. Like it was a gore fest. There's blood everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now. Oh wow. And now see, as you did that, apparently you're not sure as to why, but a grenade is now in the crow's nest with you.
I jump out of the way.
Give me an agility roll.
Okay. Let's see. What's my agility? It's a 0. And this is where we say goodbye to Ben. Oh no, I got a 17.
Oh wow! You jump out of it in the nick of time, and the crow's nest goes kablooey, and just like that, all war just broke out. People are sneaking out from like the trenches of the mud and the dirt and the grass, and they're just opening firing on it, on the settlement. You are you are on the other side of the wall where the enemy is. You're in enemy territory, watching bullets fly right past you, taking out you're hearing the screams of your comrades, going, "Oh my God, it was an ambush!" and they knew where they were because you signaled they were watching you. Those 6 people were baked, and you fell for it. And they now know the location of all the soldiers on the other side of the wall. What do you do?
Um, does this look like a battle we can actually win, or does this look like a fight that we're gonna lose right away?
It's the way it's the wasteland. Anything's possible.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna try to get to cover and then start firing pot shots at the Maine's tentacle soldiers.
All right. All right, so you take cover and you pull out your rifle. Give me a 2d10 roll, and
Okay.
I believe this is for range. So yep, go ahead. Just give me a roll.
It's 6.
Oh, wow. So you're firing, pow, pow, and it's just like you did not hit no one.
How many rounds did I fire off?
I would just figure like, well, I would just figure like maybe 1 or 2.
Okay, I'll say 1 because I only have 5 rounds in each clip.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Is your AC by chance doesn't is it under 13, correct?
I don't believe there is AC in the new version. There's just the armor war.
Let's see here.
So, like, you look at the armor attack or armor attack matrix for ranged or melee.
Ah, okay, there we go. All right. Well, this is gonna be ranged, so let me see here. Haha. Oh, here we go. Page 34. And you're wearing medium, so that should be a little bit different. God, I love this game already. Bum, 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 bum. Where are you? Oh, here we go. Oh, wow. So you do look at basically... So for you, it'd be hardened leather. So we're doing... Okay, that's for melee. This wasn't melee. This was range. I wouldn't say handgun. SMG is better. So leather armor. There you go. A +2. What does a +2 mean?
Okay. I will roll it. And I
You will
have
roll
to
it?
add
Okay.
+2 is probably going to hit me.
Yep. Oh no. That's +2 for me to hit you.
Oh, so I don't roll. My bad.
No. This is for me to see if I hit you, which I rolled a 13 with that +2. That would make it a 15. So I imagine it would hit. I'm not sure if that's how that works. Is that how that works?
Because I don't know what the how the armor stacks out.
Neither do I. Hang on one second. Let me see how this works. You know what? We'll just look for armor.
Because it like has the armor type, the breakage and power source, the repair type.
I think this might. I think it might. I think it absorbs damage.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So hang on. Let me check this. I just went to armor. Come on. There we go. Skills and savings throw tests. Okay. So all non-combatant tests are 2d10 with a base target of 11. Okay. So for you, I would have had to hit 11 plus 2. Which would have been a 13 or higher, which I did. And then if I'm not mistaken, the armor breakage, if I remember correctly, and I don't, because I did read this book, but I don't remember it.
Armor breakage for hardened leather armor is 25%.
Okay. You know what? We'll have to see if we roll it if it breaks, but let's see here. So yep, +2. So I hit you for 13, and I get to roll a die. I believe it's a D8.
And I only have 9 HP.
Give me 1 second. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure if this does absorbing rolls. No armor, leather. Okay, hang on a second.
I think that makes sense, though.
It does. Like, it absorbs, like, a certain amount of damage. And for medium, which is what you're wearing, it would... So, if I get the +2, great, but you still absorb 2 damage. So, like you take 2 damage right now.
Mm-hmm.
So...
No, but why? That doesn't make sense, because if you're wearing no armor and you're being attacked by a combat rifle, you soak 4 damage. That doesn't make sense.
Hang on 1 second. Well, I only rolled 4.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, like, I'm looking at the ranged weapon versus armor attack matrix.
Yep. Hang on. Oh, you know what? We'll just do this. Sorry for the hold up. Battle.
In an unfamiliar system at that.
Not that unfamiliar. I mean, yeah, we haven't really played this.
Yeah, we had. I certainly haven't played this, and you're more familiar with like Castles and Crusades than anything else.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, But oh, here we go. Okay, so no, you do just take 4 points of damage.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm down to 5 HP.
All right. So, yep, I shot you. So one of the guys shot you. Like as soon as you fire off those 2 rounds, you got shot like right in the arm, and you take like 4 points of damage. All right. There's a lot of screaming going on right now. So, what do you do?
I am going to do I see the person who fired at me?
You see a group of people. You didn't see the person exactly.
Okay. I will fire at the one closest to me with my hunting rifle.
All right, go right ahead and give me a roll.
Mm-hmm. That's a 9.
That's a 9. Oh wow, you do hit. So give me a damage roll.
Okay. That's 2 damage.
2 damage. You shot someone and he's like, "Oh, I got shot," but he's still up. He's still up. Yes, these people are kind of like, so just so you know, if you're using if I looked at the matrices right, because you are at a ranged weapon, it will be, the target number will be 11 minus 2 if I read that correctly. Because these guys, they're not really wearing armor per se. They're just wearing the banner colors. And you have a hunting rifle too.
Yeah.
So.
With 4 clips left.
Right? So, alright. So, the battle's still raging on. You got, Pops comes up right to you and says, Ben! Ben!
What?
Are you okay, Ben? I heard this
I
battle.
got an arm, but I'm okay right now.
We got to get the fuck out of here, Ben. We got to get out of here. There's too many people. They went around the waterway as well. They're sending major explosives over there. They're gonna break into the coalition. We got to go.
Do we have any way to rescue some of the civilians?
I don't know, Ben. I don't know. We could try.
We'll just go then. Let's go.
All right. So you guys begin sneaking away. Let's see if they can see you. Oh, yeah. Give me a stealth roll, which would be your agility. And anything, and any of your skills, like if you have any background skills that would help with you being stealth.
Investigator?
Say that again?
Investigator, maybe?
Yeah, like your investigation, you sneak around. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Okay, cool. 2d10 plus 1. It's a 6.
6? Alright. Wow. Yeah, you suddenly got bullets flying right by your head. You're like, whoa, what the hell? They're like the group is seeing you. Pops looks at you.
I'm gonna run.
Alright. As you're running, Pops looks at you and goes, "Save yourself, Ben!" And he sacrifices himself, and he takes all the bullets from the Maine's tentacles as he's trying to return fire. Let's see if he takes anyone out in the process. Oh,
You're really cool. He shows up as a slave to the Maine's tentacles and have to rescue him.
So he starts. You hear him go pow pow, like he shoots off 6 rounds before the bullets, like you see blood flying everywhere, and he just falls to the ground. You watch.
Damn it!
You have a flashback of seeing him when he was born, knowing that he was a kid. He first met you by going through, by coming up and talking to you, not being afraid of you, thinking you were the coolest thing on earth. As a kid, you helped him as a teenager as he was stealing. You told him not to be breaking the rules, that there's other things. You remember him, as he gets to become of age as a man, taking over the tavern for the family, learning how to distill and engineer things, and you got to watch him grow old, a ripe age of 52.
No time for tears. Time to run. And doesn't stop running until he doesn't hear any more gunfire nearby.
You find yourself in the wasteland until morning. You return to the settlement. Notice that the wall has taken multi-points of damage, but the ground outside the wasteland is littered with bodies. Massive bodies. Some the enemies, some allies. You get back and you see people crying over the dead. Sons, daughters, husbands. Wives, soldiers to the cause of freedom. you hear stories that the general was killed in the heat of battle. Even though this settlement has suffered massive losses, the Black Rain Coalition in Fort Kent was successful, but at a price.
So they got rid of the Maine's tentacles.
Yes, turns out there wasn't a lot of them. There was probably like 20 to 30 soldiers, and most of them died once they broke in.
Well, shit. I should have stayed.
You should have. But probably would have lost. You notice that these soldiers are wearing the exact emblem of Maine's tentacles. Many of these people probably have been out on the road for months, maybe even a year at most. Just some of them had scars. Some of them looked young. Some of them looked old. You know that they're strictly, a pirate crew looking to enslave.
Did we notice that any of the initial brunt of people that were the bait? Do we notice that any of them were actually citizens of the coalition at one point?
No.
Okay. I didn't know if they captured coalition citizens and then forced them forward into a death march, basically.
If it was probably within only a few years. It's been years, so that you probably don't remember them.
Okay.
Slight possibility, but the percentage rate on that is very low.
Mm-hmm.
There is a town meeting being held by one of the head of the head of the coalition, the one who runs Fort Kent. Let me pull up their names real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Do. So one of the political leaders, there was two of them. They're both grandsons of one major leader that's no longer around. So the main one is James Lowell. But the most notable members that helped build this community was also Samuel Genovese and Matthew Monroe. Now, Sam and Matthew are both actually part of the same family. They just have two different last names because of the daughters who married into two different other families. Because their mothers were daughters of their grandfather who helped build this community. James Lowell is the current leader that they elected to help fund everything because they didn't know what they were doing. So James knew a little bit more than they did. So what naturally they thought should have been done is he should be leader. So they held a town meeting, and do you attend to it?
Yes, I do.
So on the town meeting goes, this land is mostly unexplored. We do not know, and I will not lie to you folks. James is up giving this speech, and he's waving his hands around. He's like, I will not lie to you. We do not know why Maine's tentacles have made it out this far. They normally haven't. They haven't. Not since they were ever founded, not since we were founded. We have never ran across this faction before. We knew due to rumors that a faction like this possibly existed. This is our nightmares come true. This is the boogeyman in the flesh. We're not sure what we're going to find out in the wasteland. But now is more than ever, we need people to sign up for this coalition because freedom is the right of every being on this planet, whether it be human, mutant, or revenant. We need to take this land back, and we need to unite everyone under our banner of the Black Rain Coalition. We need to bring more into the fold and protect this land that we have left, because there's not much of it left. There's no vegetation. Radiation is still high. The war of 83 years ago, the scars are still fresh. This is the last thing we need. I am asking for a set of parties members to please step forward and let me know if you want to join the Black Rain Coalition. We are going to send Maine's Tentacles a message. And that message is going to be, do not fuck with us. And that freedom is still going to prevail.
I was going to say, at that point, Ben steps forward to join.
Ben Hawthorne, renowned member of our community. You join, sir, yes?
Yes, I am.
He takes off your... If you're still wearing the armor from last night, he says he takes off that armor, and he takes off your light armor and gives you an official coat, which is medium armor, so you can adjust, which is medium armor, hardened leather, with special pads, and it has the pine tree on it. And he says, "Welcome to the Black Rain Coalition. You can keep that rifle. I hope you bring those sons. I hope you bring those sons of bitches down.
I'll do it, sir.
There is no room in this land for slavery. We are done. We're done with everything. There is no room for anything. And those pirates, those land pirates, will feel our wrath and the wrath of the Almighty." You do notice that he has a pendant in the shape of a cross. So, very possible he believes in a god. Not sure which god, but a god. So, alright. So, a couple other people step forward, and yeah. And thus begins a wasteland campaign of adventure through the vastness of the state of Maine. And the war between the Black Rain Coalition and Maine's Tentacles begins.
Is that the end of the first session?
Yes. I will say that'll be a good place to stop. Well, I had a lot of fun. Did you have a lot of fun?
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, I'm going to brush up on these mechanics, though, because I am more in tune with the OSR version than the 2D10. I thought I had this kind of licked down, but I didn't really expect a battle. I kind of threw that in there. I had to give you something to do.
Okay.
So... Alright, well, I'm glad you had a lot of fun. I hope everyone did have a lot of fun joining in. Hopefully, I didn't hear a message or a comment from the Basic Expert, which he did message me, letting me know he will try and make it. He was very excited about this. Hopefully, we didn't break his system down too bad.
Well, I mean, he can always watch the recording if he couldn't make it.
Oh, yeah. And like I said, I'm going to brush up a little bit on the 2D10 version. I was trying to do that a little earlier today, too, just to get a brush up on how some of this works. But it's been a very busy day for me, too. I just wanted to...
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not too complicated.
Nope. For the most part, it's actually fairly easy.
I actually really like this version of... 2D10 is, so much cooler than a D20, in my opinion.
Yeah, matter of opinion. Oh, by the way, you need to give me a percentile roll real quick.
A what roll?
Percentile.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I will do so.
Yep. You got to roll 75 or below.
Mm-hmm. 14.
Oh wow. Okay, sweetness. Wow. Yeah. So the armor you had on before was perfectly fine. It didn't even suffer any breakage at all. But they gave you a new, more official standpoint. So,
Or
Yeah,
what kind of armor do I have now? Like, what's it classified as in the armor
like
section?
hardened leather.
Okay. Hardened leather.
Yep. So, like I said, this was supposed to just be a small introductory to this game because I wanted to try it out and I was feeling kind of Fallout-ish. I haven't played any Fallout in a long time, so I was like, well, I definitely been wanting, and I've been actually wanting to try this game out for quite a while now. Ever since I got it,
I
because I am
I
just a
actually
big
was
fan of
gonna.
Fallout.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I'm a big fan of Fallout, so I wanted to play a Fallout type game for once.
Oh, me too. But like, I was initially going to do a solo play of Atomic Punk
Oh,
on
nice.
my YouTube channel. I don't know if I might still do it, but
I would.
especially since I've played it now for the first time.
Oh yeah, I would if I was you, because I was actually I've got 3 characters where I'm doing a solo play. I'm gonna do a solo play on my channel as well.
Cool.
Yep, one's a doctor, one's a hitman, and one's like doctor hitman, and I forgot what the other person was. So I guess you'll have to see. And it's gonna take place in the state of Maine as well. I'm just gonna mess with Maine for a while. So
Oh, real quick before we end the call or end the stream,
yep.
um, did Pops give me some caps for giving him the fermented alcohol?
Oh yeah, I would say probably about 20 caps, which is like,
Okay.
but like yeah, 20 decent caps because the fermented alcohol was really good. Too bad no one ever got to drink it.
Well, I mean, someone can still drink it if we stay in the settlement. I mean, it's still there, isn't it?
Yeah, but someone's got to take over his station though. He didn't have any
That's
kids.
true. Did he not have a son or a daughter or anything?
Nope. He did not pass
Oh
on his
no.
genes. So well, all right. So, what do we got coming up for the future of my channel? Well, I've been saving this for a while. Give me just a second. I got to figure out which one it was. I think it was this one. I got something to share with you guys once again. I will have to put the music, probably relist the music in my channel again. But so today I was working on another. This is a fan made game. Because the source material has already been taken, but I've been wanting to do a D6 version mixed with a little bit of Fate Core. So I took aspects of Fate Core and I did take D6 mechanics and I merged them together, which is not hard because essentially Fate Core is kind of D6. They have 6-sided dice, specialized dice. So I did do this for this one. And here is a preview that I do want to do on this one. So this is what you guys got coming up looking for. Which game, if you haven't seen this trailer before, you're going to see it for the first time.
Cool.
Well, I didn't share that last part with you, but I totally forgot I had that in the trailer too.
That was really cool, man.
Oh yeah, yeah. The last part was Kelly from Ash vs. the Evil Dead, where she was in the episode telling people to back off, or she's basically gonna shoot at them. I'm sorry, that is my favorite. Like, my girlfriend said, I was watching that. We were watching that one episode one day, and I fell asleep during it, and I literally smiled while I was sleeping when she said that line.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. So I am getting a group together to do a homebrew using a homebrew system of just the Evil Dead, and it's just gonna have some famous tropes in there and stuff like that. It's supposed to take place around the Halloween time, but it looks like I'm kind of getting done. I'm kind of just fleshing out some extra stuff that I think could exist in the universe. I am gonna do a Necronomicon / Evil Dead talk. Probably tonight. Probably be late tonight. Just because I do, but I got to get some clips together because there are some things that I thought was funny that has appeared in pop media that should be shared, and bring out some good stuff. Some good stuff. Witch King, you should tune into that talk because you might like something about from that talk.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, if you have a spot open and you're running on a day I can join, I would definitely like to play.
Oh, it's going to be this weekend.
Oh,
it's going to be
what day?
I'm either thinking either later on tonight or tomorrow. Tomorrow
Okay, because I get to run Call of Cthulhu on Sunday.
Okay, it won't be Sunday. Sunday is my last day to relax, so I'm gonna relax that day. But yeah. So, all right, I got to brush up on this system here. For everyone else, have a great night.
I hope we can play some more with this setting and characters.
I have no doubt that will happen because I think this is going to be our go-to off game when Castles and Crusades is running. Because tonight was supposed to be Castles and Crusades night originally, but it got canceled. So if it gets canceled next time, then this will definitely be the game we're running.
Awesome.
So,
well,
yep.
I hope everyone enjoyed the stream, and I am the Witch King of Samra. I run the Esoteric Order of Nerdity blog and YouTube channel. I don't make as regular posts as I should, but I'm hoping to change that, as I say often. But do you want to promote Jason Bay's Kickstarter tabletop?
Yes, because that's still going on. That should be in my description. If you want to do that, you can go right ahead. You can mention
I'll do that.
But I will put it right in my description as well.
Okay, cool. So Jason Bay, who is one of the designers for Troll Lord Games, which we are huge fans of, Tabletop and I, Jason Bay, he runs, and I think he's like the lead designer for Amazing Adventures. He currently has a Kickstarter going on right now for an awesome role-playing game called The Wasted Lands Dreaming. And it's basically a sword and sorcery kind of setting where it takes place 65 million years ago, just after the KT extinction event, which was actually the death or the slumber of the old ones, the Cthulhu Mythos creatures. And now the proto-humans that were created by the old ones as servitors are reclaiming the primal earth from the forces of chaos and evil. And the characters you typically play as are proto-humans who will end up becoming the gods of myth and legend in our history, because there's basically a giant game of telephone going on where all of the adventures that the gods went on in the Dreaming Age end up translated into myths and legends in our time. So lots of cool stuff you can do. You can be really powerful, get godlike powers, achieve apotheosis, and it's really cool. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh
Oh, and
yeah.
Meliora, she is we used to do stream, or we did a stream with her at one point. But she's doing the artwork for the majority of the Wasteland Streaming Age, as well as the full color fold out map and map of the world for the Dreaming Age.
Yeah, so what happened with that whole thing was I started a new job, and that's been sucking out most of my time right now. So it's one of those I was trying to get back to it, but I know she was busy during the summer, and right now I'm taking the summer off. I will be getting back with Mel of Agrimore to see if she ever wanted to come back on and do some more stuff with us. We could do a little bit more talk. It's just right now I'm, like I said, I'm in a rarity moment where I'm able to do this, and hopefully it stays like that for a little bit. I hope. Yeah, I'm actually this week was a slow week for me. Next week is not going to be a slow week, and the week after that's going to be a fast-paced week of I'm not going to have time to do anything. So yeah, that's why I'm trying to get other than Castles and Crusades. That's why I'm trying to get as much streaming in as I can right now, because it's going to go back to one video every because when I first started this job and it took off on me. It took off after a couple weeks. If you weren't paying attention, Witch King, I was literally doing one video every 2 weeks, and that's if we did Castles and Crusades.
I remember, like, you at one point it seemed like you were doing a video every week or so.
Yep, one every week. There was one point when I was working my previous job, I was doing one every other day, which was fine. But now I'm slowing down to once a week if I can get it. But if I can't get it, it's going to be once every other week or once in a blue moon when I can. Because there was a time I actually missed a week and a half. Like, I didn't even do one video within, like, 10 days. So, yeah. Yeah. So, and then it wasn't even that. I had to slow down that because my biggest thing is doing reviews, and we still got more Castle and Crusade stuff to go through for review work. But that was the other thing, and I just didn't have time to sit down and read any of the content that I was trying to review. So yeah, that kind of sucked. Mm-hmm. So anyway, my final words that I'm gonna say on this channel before we continue, before we shut everything down. My name's Tabletop Junkie. I just premiered that Evil Dead trailer, which I might, again, just for the sake to get that last one in, because it's my favorite scene. So, yeah, it's completely a fan-made game. I do know there is the Army of Darkness game, but yeah, from what I've understand and some of the reviews, that is more fitting for, like, if you want to play a Deadite fantasy-type game where you're, like, in medieval times. So I wanted to do something more modern. I love D6. D6 is is becoming my new thing right now, because the D6 I think the D6 system by West End Games or by any other developer that's used it is not getting the recognition they deserve. I think that system should deserve a lot of recognition. Not a whole lot of number crunching, but it's not like so system liked where it's like you're just feeling like you're role playing either. So. That is I'm finding it to be a perfect medium. Yes, so you're probably stay tuned. I am going to show you guys how to make a character for that, because you guys are probably wondering, if you saw in the trailer, you're probably wondering how Fate Core fits into this. I am going to show you guys what aspects I took from that to put into the this D6 hybrid. What aspects I took from both systems to merge together for this type of setting that I'm doing. So you are going to see that. A couple other things that are coming up. As I told you, we are going to do a Necronomicon and Evil Dead talk. And there is one more talk I'm going to do. I have fell in love with the writer of... so my son got me into Five Nights at Freddy's. He's been playing the games. That's his favorite thing in the whole world. I finally did a tabletop game. I am going to upload those logs to my blog as well, which will also be in my description. So I literally, he's playing a night security guard. He did have a friend that played with him. She died after night 2 though.
Oh, no.
Her character did not make it through night 2. So he's still alive. He's still alive. He did. I think they played through night 3. They are now on night 4. She's gonna come in with a brand new character, and we may have another person coming in with a new character, a new player though too, and they're gonna see if they can beat the animatronics at their own game. So he got me into Five Nights at Freddy's, and what's up?
What system are you using for that?
Fate Core.
Oh.
Yep, I decided to use Fate Core. Easy way to use it. So
I mean, you probably could figure out a way to do it with Houses and Crusades and Amazing Adventures as well if you really wanted to.
Oh yeah, I could. I just did something kind of fast and dirty because the kids really wanted to play it, and I wasn't prepared for it at the time. So I said, well, you know what? We'll just do Fate Core, fast, dirty, but complete, and comes out looking great. And a lot of fun. So yeah, they're having a lot of fun with it. So I originally looked up because my son was telling me about the creator. His name is Scott Cawthon. And I did my own research on this guy, and there was a lot of things that stood out from him that I will be covering in a video. So yeah. So all things aside, I think I have a whole lot of respect for this guy, and he did create a good thing. And then also my son last year got Security Breach. So we've been playing Security Breach with each other not with each other, like he plays his, like Security Breach is only a 1-player game. So he plays his game file, I play my game file, and we compare notes on Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach.
If you want like a deep dive into like the theories of Five Nights at Freddy's, I'm sure you know what I'm going to mention, don't you?
About how the original creator was a psychopath that murdered like 5 kids and put their souls in animatronics.
No.
Okay.
I'm talking about the YouTube channel that used to, or I don't know if they still do, but they used to delve into a lot of theory crafting about Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh yeah, that's where I got that information. That's where I got that information I just told you was from. Yeah, I've actually been doing a deep dive between each game. Right now, I'm only between the first and the second one right now. So I do have an encyclopedia book of all the characters they've made so far for Five Nights at Freddy's, and I do have the Five Nights at Freddy's where it talks about all the games that they've made so far as well, including Security Breach.
Nice.
Oh yeah. So I paid for 2 copies of each book, and I did show that off on YouTube, as well as the Arbiter of Worlds. I've lightly touched that book, but I did touch that book, and I'm going through it right now as we speak. Which was from you for my birthday.
You talked about it, but what do you think about it as you've been reading more into it?
Right now, I'm very interested. Right now, I have not drawn any more opinions. I do like where this guy has come from. And you might see some of his aspects of some of the topics he talks about. You might see that reflect in Paramore, especially during the later ages.
That's kind of what I was hoping for.
Yeah. Well, you know, hope no longer. It's gonna happen. There was page 90, I think it was, stood out to me, so I'm going to read that a bit deeper. I have to reread some things over and over again before it sticks in my brain. So yeah, you know. But page 90, I believe one of those pages started talking about how to reflect the economy of a world to make it your own, and he started going through some old D&D stuff and some current D&D stuff, and how you can change that to make it your own. And
I especially like how he goes into like, oh, you want to run a historical setting and you don't want to upset people with historical traditions and values that are abhorrent to modern day traditions and values.
Yes.
So you have like three approaches: the bespoke, the I just remember the bespoke one because that's the one that interested me the most. But like, you either ignore everything, you include it in an historical approach, or you change the setting a bit to be more acceptable to modernize.
I like his like the first chapter stood out to me too, where he said it's not your job. It is your job to make a game, but not it's everyone else's job to make sure that they're having fun.
Oh yeah,
Something like that.
That's what I really liked
Yeah,
as well.
I saw that and I said, this book has made such an impact because I hear people say that all the time, and it's really true. And he actually doesn't just say the statement and leave it alone. He actually goes into the breakdown of that statement too. That is something that I'm probably going to share at some point on one of my streams. But that won't be tonight, everyone. So meanwhile, we do got to get going because I am getting a bit hungry, so I do have to get some food in me. And want to wish everyone a great, wonderful night. Witch King, thank you so much for hanging out with me today.
You're totally welcome, man. I love
So-
hanging out with you indeed.
Oh, yeah. So let's end this on a good note. I have a introduction for you guys to just review as well for this one specifically. So here we go. Outroduction. Here we go.